Our last topic of the day is the topic. Gunnar versus Bobby Witt. We got to do our check-in. And since we talked about it last, Bobby Witt Jr., maybe just the best player in baseball. He has been insanely good. He nearly hit 500 in the month of July. I mean, what can we say about Bobby Witt Jr.? Feel like he's better right now.
We started the season talking about Bobby versus Gunnar, and we were a little bit split. It seemed like, okay, Bobby Witt Jr. might have a little bit of an edge. And then Gunnar Henderson went out, was on a 50 homer pace. He's in the home run derby. The Orioles are ascending to the top of the American League. It was all about Gunnar. And we kind of waited both in the weeds, maybe me more so. I was more of a Bobby baseball guy, just waiting in the weeds going, okay, you know what? We'll give the crown to Gunnar. But a lot has changed since the start of July. In fact, Gunnar was pretty quiet in June in general. But to put this another way, yesterday at the ballpark, talking with some players, day games are always nice. It's a little bit more relaxed. It's cooler in the morning, and standing around, we're talking. There was a lull in the conversation, and I had a player go up to me, point to the scoreboard, Bobby Witt, huh? Like he wanted to talk with me about Bobby Witt. He trains with Bobby Witt Jr. in the off season. And so, he's amazing. We got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and we can't keep up with him. And he's talked about all speedsters, guys that with 30 stolen base on their track record or potential. And just couldn't say enough glowing words about how phenomenal Bobby Witt Jr. is. And we've seen it. July American League Player of the Month, hit 485, has been really consistent. That's the other piece too. You go back and look, he's not had a bad month. He's had okay months. Like June, he was just okay. And when I say okay, he was hitting like 305 for the month and had 3 home runs. So on the lower side. But in general, Bobby Witt Jr. has been incredibly consistent this entire year.
He's got an average over 300 in every single month, and on base percentage over 350 in every month, a WRC plus over 130 in every month, and a WRC plus of 270 in July. That's what happens when you hit 49, 520, 833. Basically, if you're not aware what WRC plus is, it's weighted runs created plus, measuring a hitter based on a league average of 100. So Bobby Witt Jr. in July was 170% better than your league average hitter. The craziest part about his season is these home road splits. We got to mention it. Bobby Witt Jr. is Ted Williams when he's playing in Kauffman. He's got a 409 batting average this year at Kauffman Stadium. I don't think they're banging on trash cans. And you look at the team, it's really just Bobby that has these ridiculous splits. For whatever it's worth, maybe it's trying to prove that contract. He wants to show the fans what he's all about, and his numbers are just ridiculous playing at home this season.
I have not heard or seen numbers like that at Kauffman Stadium since Bob Hamlin. I think he was the 92 American League Rookie of the Year award winner. It was just one of the most obscure guys. I would say George Brett, but George Brett would hit for more average. Remember when I was banging the drum? We're saying that a lot. Eggs, drums, banging things. A lot of that stuff going on in this episode about how when we have conversations about the end of the season and what a player's performance is, Baseball Reference's version of WAR is the performance, and Fangraphs is probably what it should have been. So it's a little more theoretical. That being said, according to Baseball Reference, 7.5 WAR for Bobby Witt Jr., 6.8 for Gunnar, so a little less than 1. You know what? I love Fangraphs' version of WAR. Bobby Witt Jr., 8.1 F-WAR. Gunnar, only 6.1. So he's got a full 2.0 wins above replacement. I'm back on the Fangraphs train.
Yep. You just gotta mold the narratives however they suit you best. So I'm right there with you. I can't get over looking at Bobby Witt Jr.'s stats. Like, I'm having so much fun just reading through these. Here's one that just jumped out to me. Extra base hits at home. He's got 45 extra base hits in 61 games. He has 25 doubles and 8 triples at Kauffman this year with 12 home runs. It's just insane. I think one thing that doesn't have any bearing on the season, but seeing the way that Bobby Witt performed in the home run derby compared to Gunnar Henderson, it just shows you the degree that Bobby Witt's locked in right now. Nearly won the thing, and he's not even a guy that is known first for his bat. I would say, for his power. He's known for his bat, but I think you look at Bobby Witt's game, you think of the speed, you think of the defense, you think of the average. You don't necessarily think of the power first, and yet he thrived on that stage. So I think this is just the year of Bobby Witt really showing that he is a perennial MVP candidate, and he might push Judge. He might push Judge a little bit in that race, even though I think everyone still expects it to be Aaron Judge that ultimately wins it.
Yeah, it's either going to take Witt leading the Royals to the postseason, which is a very tall order, or the tall order himself, Aaron Judge. That's a great nickname. Is that official? Can I say that he's the tall order? That sounds good.
Yeah.
Or the tall order just getting hurt and really not hitting those milestones we kind of expecting, out of him. He deserves a lot more recognition. Bobby Witt Jr. does. Look at defense. Here's the other piece too. Using outs above average for Baseball Savant, Bobby Witt Jr. tops among all shortstops, plus 16. Where's Gunnar at? -1. So again, doing it on both sides of the ball, not just hitting home runs, not just hitting extra bases, not just performing at home, but also playing defense, hitting on the road, being consistent. I think that's something that I think it's appreciated by those inside the game, but those outside, you're just, again, looking at the numbers going, hey, this guy's posted some really good stats, but when is he posting those stats? I kind of got that thought yesterday in the Mets Rockies game where there was a base hit, RBI late, didn't matter. The game was already like 8-1. And I go, yeah, this feels like the right time for so and so to tack on another RBI, kind of maybe the Alex Rodriguez of their generation. I'll leave it to your imagination as who that could be, but being just consistent and being good when you have to be good and being good when you don't have to be good can be taken for granted. Bobby Witt Jr. is good in all scenarios.
He is, and the team performance matters too, as well as the MVP race. I think right now, Bobby Witt Jr. for this season has maybe ended the conversation between him and Gunnar. I think he
Oh,
is the better guy for this year. There's going to be a lot of other conversations to be had. I think the MVP race is one we'll talk about in a couple months, and I'm looking at Judge's numbers: 456 on base, 691 slug, 41 home runs already. He's probably going to win it, but I think the conversation we'll have this offseason where Bobby Witt could be at the top of the list, is best shortstop in baseball. And that's right there for him. So we might be looking at our top 10 rankings going into 2025 and seeing Bobby Witt as the number one shortstop in the game.
we haven't seen 100 extra base hits in a single season since I believe it was Todd Helton, who was the only player to go back to back in 100 extra base hits in
Wow.
consecutive seasons. I don't know that Bobby Witt Jr. is going to get there. He's got 65 right now, so he trails by 2, both Judge and Ohtani. But again, talk about that consistency. Could he do that much over the final 8 weeks or so? It's not out of the expectation, but that could be a conversation, maybe more for next year, perhaps, is will we ever see 100 extra base hits again in a season? If so, you got to like the gap power of Bobby Witt Jr., the raw strength of Bobby Witt Jr., and the speed of Bobby Witt Jr. to get those triples, to add them up, and to get 100 extra base hits. He's a remarkable player, and I feel good. I'm not going to take a victory lap just yet because look, it's not over. But Bobby Witt Jr. is better. I feel like I put my eggs in the right basket.
Your ostrich eggs, if you were. Uh,
Exactly.
oh yeah, we're going eggs puns now.
By the way,
Um,
you said breaking an egg earlier, and you didn't realize it, and that's why I was laughing.
yeah, did not intend to do that. Last thing I have, Todd Helton, 100 extra base hits. What do you have, like 80 doubles? How many doubles did Todd Helton have when he did that? Do you know?
Uh, no, I mean it might have been in the 50s, but he was good for 40 home runs.
Okay, okay.
Coors Field produces more triples than any ballpark. Only had a few in that category, but he was a doubles hitting machine, and that power took off a little bit depending on where he was playing. Yeah, actually, yeah, Todd Helton was, you could technically say, the last guy with 100 extra base hits because he had 105 in 2001. But Sammy Sosa was also over 100. So was Luis Gonzalez. So was Barry Bonds in that 2001 season. So
What was the breakdown there of his extra base hits?
he had 49 homers, 2 triples, and
Wow.
54 doubles. And the previous year, he had 59 doubles.
I did not realize he had a 49 home run season. That guy
He's
should
a
be in the
Hall
Hall
of
of Fame.
Famer, Ryan. Put some respect on that man's name, okay?
I know he was great. I just didn't realize he had 50 home run power. I'm sorry. I didn't remember that. I remember him being like 30 home runs and like 50 doubles. So,
Mets fans still probably think that Benny Agbayani had a better career than Todd Helton, okay? So
well, I mean, when it comes to names, try to do better than Benny Agbayani. I mean,